Good morning, Year 11. Welcome to English for Term 2. As you know, we're doing home-based learning for the first couple of weeks. And just as we ended off last term, we're going to follow the similar procedures. So we have our flowchart happening on the left-hand side up the top here. Screencastifiers will fall in this middle column, and then our learning activities happen over here. We're also going to be doing Zoom meetings as classes, but we'll give you more information about that. So the same expectations is that you follow your normal timetable, teachers will be online at those times, etc. All right, so let's jump into the unit. Up the top here, we have a new unit called Contemporary Possibilities. Whole concept behind this is how can we take technology, just like we're using now, and use it to enhance our understanding of storytelling. So we're going to look at that through the crime genre. So we're going to start off, as you know from last term, we looked at Sherlock Holmes, and what you should have really picked up from the study in Scarlett is the way that the Sherlock Holmes went about solving the crime. So what type of clues did he look for? Who were the other characters that were involved? How did Sherlock actually process the information? How did he come to his conclusions? What was the time period like when they moved across from England over to America? How did the cultural aspects change, etc.? I'll go into that much further later on, but essentially when we look at the modern day versions of the same story, we have to look at how those things actually take place and how they change. So if you scroll down the page a little bit further, skip that, you should have two green boxes up there. On the left is the study Scarlett. On the right is essentially an empty box for you to copy over your responses from last term. If you did not get that finished, that is your absolute number one priority, because the assumption is that that's done and we're ready to move on. So we move into essentially week 1 of term 2, and this is the first part of week 1. We're going to get into it. So in lesson 1 here, if you click it open, once it opens, it's going to ask you first of all to think for a get stuck in. We're still going to do get stuck ins. A piece of technology that has enhanced your life. So essentially your computer is probably the most perfect one at the moment because you are still able, under a massive virus, to still continue life as normal. However, for us, it's got a pure paragraph here. And the most important part for that is, when we come back over to this video, is pure paragraph is really the sophisticated writing style that we need from now on. I like to think of pure paragraph as like a hamburger. The 4-letter pure paragraph is basically a cheeseburger. What you want to do is be able to write that well, but you also, as time goes on, turn that into a Big Mac. So you want to beef up your paragraphs each time as we go along. All right, so that's giving you get stuck in to look at your writing style. Then the next part is we get you to look at the rubric. What the rubric is, it's a statement in the syllabus that essentially says what the expectations are for your unit. So if you come back over, here's your rubric. If you click on it, I've copied and pasted it straight from the syllabus. And in reality, particularly when we get to the HSC, the rubric should have the question in it. So it's the language from this rubric that's actually going to make your assessment task. And your assessment task is going to be using a piece of technology, and you're going to be creating a speech during that. So eventually, by the end of the term, you're going to do a screencastify on contemporary possibilities. So you need to understand the language in here and what is it that it's trying to get us to say. All right, so that's the first part. The second part starts to look at the way that we actually can tell stories in today's time. So in this middle part here, we have what's called interactive narratives. So if you click on it, it's going to give you a variety of different interactive stories. These are pretty impressive. You have to choose 2 of them. So have a look at them first. One of the probably most famous interactive story at the moment is The Boat. And when you look at it, it loads up. It's got essentially a lot of interacting things. So you got the idea of rain happening here. And then, I click start, sorry. Once you start it, it starts telling you the story as it goes down. So it's actually a narrative that you scroll through and you read it like a proper story, but the different visual effects interact it as you go along. However, if you go back, there is other ones, say in the Cronulla riots, where you get to pick and choose where you want to go, etc. Okay, I'm about to finish up because I'm going to get kicked off, but that is your expectations for the first part. We'll give you some more information what's happening with our Zoom meetings. All right, great. Good to hear from you guys. Keep in touch. Bye.